Hello everyone, batching into today's first video, looking at the ECMWF 30-day model for today's first video. So we're looking at temperature and rainfall anomalies for the next 4 weeks for the UK and for the rest of Europe as well. And I'll get on that for you very shortly and just say that coming up later on today we're going to have your 10 to 14-day video update including all of regular features. And then tonight we're going to have a look at the bank holiday weekend. And that will be coming up around 7 o'clock this evening, I would have thought. Should have done that yesterday, but I ran out of time to get that one done. So that'll be with you tonight. Right, so let's start off with the ECMWF 30-day look ahead. So just to say that this one can actually extend out to weeks 5 and 6. We're going to stop this at week 4. But we will look at week 5 and 6 temperature and rainfall anomalies in our live stream tomorrow from 6 o'clock. Right then, so let's have a look. So this is how the week 1 temperature anomaly is looking for much of northern and western Europe. So cooler than average in the north and in the west. So from northern Spain through France into Ireland and the UK, over to Belgium, Holland and the Netherlands into Germany, up to Denmark, and then northwards to the Scandinavian Peninsula, and over to Baltic Sea is below average. Coolest anomalies to average are for much of Sweden and Norway, where we're going down to around 3 to 4 degrees below average, and also for northern and eastern parts of Scotland. But widely in this northwest part of Europe, it is cooler than average. At the same time, though, many eastern and southern and southeastern parts of Europe are warmer than average. So we see above average temperatures widely through most of the Mediterranean, also down to the southeastern Med, hotter than average there, and then going northwards up towards the Black Sea and up to the southwest of Russia. Again, it is significantly warmer than average through there. Some places are between around 3 to 4 degrees above average, so really quite hot through many parts of the Mediterranean and southern Europe. So a proper northwest-southeast split there, northwest-southeast divide, a classic sort of northwest-southeast divide with a temperature in the weekend from 24th to the 30th of August. Week 1 rainfall from the 24th to 30th of August is looking like this. So there's a swathe of wet weather that's coming in off the Atlantic through the UK and Ireland into parts of northern Germany, also parts of the Low Countries, Denmark, and then over towards the southern shores of Baltic Sea, so and to west of Russia. So anywhere in that area is looking wetter than average. To the north, that is actually rather drier than average. That's because we've got northern block, we've got high pressure sitting around Iceland and also extending towards Scandinavia, seemingly to some degree. So those areas look rather dry. And then elsewhere across Europe, we've got very weak signals. So some parts of the central Med looking a little bit wetter than average. There comes some big showers and thunderstorms through there. And just generally quite close to average or no signal really through many parts of southern, southwestern and southeastern Europe for rainfall in the week ahead. Week 2 temperature anomaly from the 31st of August to the 6th of September looks like this. So warmer than average on the eastern side of Europe. It's going to be hotter than average on the eastern side of Europe. Southeast parts of the Med up to the Black Sea, to the southwest of Russia, and extending northwards to those extreme eastern and northeastern parts of Europe. All those areas are looking warmer than average. We've got Scandinavia near normal to slightly warmer than average. And then we've got cooler than average temperatures from like France over towards Poland. So cooler than average through there. Ireland and the UK near normal. And then down into the Mediterranean, it looks like many places away from that eastern part of the Med, again, are average to possibly a little bit cooler than average. Portugal and southern Spain looks a bit hotter than average. It's hotter than average in the southeast Med too, but in between, many places are actually sort of a little bit on the cool side, if anything. And the week 2 rainfall anomaly from the 31st of August to 6th of September looks like that. So yes, it is a little bit wetter than average for Ireland and the UK still. So a little bit of an unsettled start to September being seen here by the ECMWF 30-day model, more particularly for western areas. Very wet over on the eastern side of Europe as well, particularly from the Balkans going up towards Ukraine. So it looks very wet through there, although the Black Sea and southern parts of Russia actually look a little bit drier. bit on the driving average side still for Norway in particular. I mean, down into the Mediterranean, we've got the western part of the Med looking average to dry, and average the eastern part of the Med from Italy east towards over the Adriatic down into towards Greece. Those areas are looking a little bit wetter than average, so a bit of an east-west split for Mediterranean for precipitation during this week. And then through to week 3, which is the 7th through to the 13th of August, becoming more widely warmer than average across many parts of Europe. We do still have Ireland and the UK, as well as the extreme northwest of France, that are looking ever so slightly close to average or ever so slightly below average. Elsewhere, though, most parts of Europe are looking significantly warmer than average, especially so on this eastern side, where it looks like it's getting very hot through this through week 3, 7th to the 13th of September. Very significantly hotter than average on the eastern side of Europe, but actually into the western side of Europe, it is quite widely warmer than average, except in the extreme northwest. So the hottest anomalies to average are close to the Black Sea, just here, where it looks like we're going to have 5 to 6 degrees above average on the temperature scale. Widely sort of 3-4 degrees above average on the eastern side of Europe, nearer to sort of 1-2 degrees above average in the west. And for the extreme northwest, for Ireland and the UK, we are actually quite close to, or maybe even hinting at being slightly below average. Precipitation wise for week 3, 7th to the 13th of September, it still looks a bit unsettled in the northwest, doesn't it? So again, Ireland, UK, many parts of Scandinavia, particularly Norway there showing up as being really quite wet, but many parts of Scandinavia looking quite wet. Yeah, so still a little bit on the unsettled side for the for week 3, for the 7th to 13th of September for the north and the northwest of Europe. But southern and eastern parts of Europe, down here, we're actually looking drier than average then. We're actually looking drier than average through many parts of the Med, southern Europe, southeastern Europe too. Looking drier than average. It really is in the extreme northwest that things look a little bit more unsettled. So clearly we're still having some influences from lower pressure here, even into September. It's not completely drying out, is it? We're still getting some influence from a jet stream and from low pressure across northern Europe. And then go through to week 4, which is the 14th to the 20th of September. As far as we're going to go with this for this update. So still warmer than average really across most parts of Europe, but the anomaly is gradually moderating. The anomaly to average is gradually lowering. Nevertheless, it still looks pretty warm over on the eastern side of Europe. It still looks warmer than average down in the southwest too. For Ireland and the UK, we're close to average for precipitation as well, and elsewhere it's just a little bit for temperature, close to average temperature, and elsewhere it's just a little bit warmer than average, but not particularly big deviation. It's not as warm in week 4 as it is in week 3. Precipitation-wise, still looks rather unsettled for Northern Europe. It never truly settles down across Scandinavia. Looks like Ireland and the UK is trying to settle down a little bit, but still a bit above average for some areas with precipitation. France, like France, Spain, Portugal in the west, and then over towards Poland, that sort of area looks rather dry. So I think we have got some higher pressure here. We've got some higher pressure through this middle part of September. Jet stream is moving a bit further northwards, but still influencing things to the far north of Europe in particular. And over on the east side of Europe, probably got thunderstorms here from the Balkans to the Black Sea. Down into the Mediterranean through this middle part of September, most parts of the Med looking dry, fine conditions continuing through the Mediterranean. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. It doesn't look as though we've got a sustained build of pressure here through the first half of September on this particular ECM update. We are waiting to see where we get some higher pressure for September, because particularly early September does tend to be a period that we associate with higher pressure and drier, warmer conditions across many northern, western parts of Europe. Not a sustained, it's not, not a signal for a sustained spell of warmer, drier weather up to the middle of September anyway. And certainly for the extreme northwest Europe, which does include the UK, it looks like things could actually stay rather mixed even as we go into September. So we shall see. Remember, it's just a snapshot of what model is showing. It could look very different next week, and any forecast beyond 5 to 7 days is always fraught with danger. I got took to task a little bit by somebody in the comments yesterday, complaining that we look too far out and it's too unreliable, but we always give you these health warnings. I think this person would like us to stick to just 5-day forecast every day, which I would find incredibly dull and boring. So I like to look at the extended, but do always keep in mind that we have the caveat, we have the health warning, that any forecast beyond 5 to 7 days is fraught with danger, and it's just a snapshot, it's just an indication, you know, no more than that. And we do it because it adds a lot of interest, and I find it very interesting personally. And I'm creating videos. Right, we'll be back later on with your 10 to 14 day video update, so come back for that then. And then we're looking at Bank Holiday weekend again tonight. So yeah, more videos to come. That's all for this one though, and thanks for watching.